There's only a few games left on the New Orleans Saints 2025 regular season schedule. The latest that's on the slate right now, up next is the Miami Dolphins, who are 4-7 on the season, and is also on a two-game winning streak, and will be looking to extend the winning streak 3 games. Now it's week 13, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all still have a lot of questions on what the direction of the New Orleans Saints are going to be, instead of having the actual answers of what the team could possibly look like in the future under the watch of Kellen Moore. This season is a wash so far. Quarterback situation, I think, is still being looked at, still being evaluated. Um, Tyler Shug is still in evaluation in regards to if he's going to be the team's long term option for the foreseeable future, and that's one of the many reasons to watch the remainder of these football games. I thought he looked solid, in the games that he's played in so far, even in the beatdown against the Rams. I think I said this in the previous video, but he the way the offense had moved while he was on the center in that game just you know kind of piqued my interest in what Shuck's upside is going to be. But for today's game, well, for Sunday's game, you're playing a Miami Dolphins team that has had a up and down season for the most part, just based on what I've seen. One week they'll look like they're competing for the AFC East title, and the next week is like they position themselves for to play in a for picking in the top 10 or top five of next year's NFL draft. That's just how inconsistent they have looked. Now, these past couple of games, they've looked really good because they beat the brakes off of the Atlanta Falcons. They beat the brakes off of the Buffalo Bills, you know? So you never know what you're going to get with this Miami Dolphins team. Now, I will say that if you're looking at it, if you're comparing the rosters right now, just talent wise, top to bottom, Miami has the Dolphins beat by a mile. They really do. But that's why you play the games, and you never know what's going to happen, because the Saints versus Panthers game a few weeks ago showed you just the inconsistencies with NFL teams. Carolina just came off a game where they beat the Green Bay Packers, a team that could play for a Super Bowl. And the next week, they get reduced down to, Bryce Young gets reduced to only 124 yards. Then the following week against the Falcons, he throws for over 450 yards. You know, then against the 49ers, he can't take advantage of the 49ers' mistakes. Then the Saints, they come in against the Falcons at home and lay an egg. So tomorrow's game could go either way. The Saints could get boat raced, or they could have a close game against the Miami Dolphins. Now, in regards to the injuries for the Saints, um, Alvin Kamara will not play in this game. Chris Olave is questionable to play, even though he practiced on, I think it was Friday, if I'm not mistaken. He missed Thursday's practice, but I practiced on Friday. Um, Alvin Kamara, had that injury against the Falcons last week, where he just kind of fell back awkwardly, and that pretty much put him out of the game. And the Saints didn't have his production in that matchup against the Falcons. Chris Olave having a really good year so far, and if he continues where he's at, he continues on his current pace, he will be extended by the Saints this offseason. Now you look at the numbers right now, team stats, leaders. Um, Spencer Rattler, he's not a quarterback right now, but he is a team Saints pass leader right now with over 1,500 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 5 picks. Tua Tagovailoa, 2,123 yards passing, 17 TDs, 13 picks on the ground. Alvin Kamara, Saints leader, rushed 471 yards. Devin H.A., Dolphins, 900 yards, 5 touchdowns. Chris Olave, elite receiver for the Saints, 734 yards, 4 touchdowns, 69 receptions. Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins. He's out. Well, no, he's not out, but he's the Dolphins' leading wide receiver with over 722 receiving yards, 49 receptions, 5 touchdowns. So both players, Olave, Waddle, have identical numbers right now. Sacks, Cam Jordan leads the New Orleans Saints in sacks with 4.5. For the Dolphins, it's Bradley Chubb with 5 tackles. Demario Davis with 102. For the Dolphins, it's Jordan Brooks with 125. Now, scouting report for the Dolphins, right? Um, they have not had a good year. They have not had a good year, despite the talent that they have, despite Tua Tagovailoa being locked into a huge extension. They've not had a good year. Tyreek Hill went down early this season, not coming back. Just a very inconsistent football team, in my opinion. There also been some talks about their head coach Mike McDaniel getting fired. That didn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen um, this offseason. Maybe, maybe not. But I know that Jim got fired, got let go during the middle of the season. Chris Greer, he's no longer with the team. They decided to mutually part ways. So, if anything, they'll be getting a new general manager. Now, Tua has not been a good quarterback this year, in my opinion. He's not been a good quarterback this year. Clearly not having he's not replicating what he has done the past 2 seasons under Mike McDaniel, but he has played a lot better um, during the winning streak. So they'll be looking to build on that going into the season, going into tomorrow's matchup against the Saints. Devin H.A. is clearly one of the league's best running backs right now, and we all know how dangerous he can be as a weapon. Kind of have that similar build as an Alvin Kamara, if you ask me, you know. So let's look at what the strengths of what this team has, the Miami Dolphins has as a whole in regards to their rankings. Um, Points per game they score 20.5 points per game. Yards per game they average over 300.4, which ranks them at 25. Third down conversion at 37.80%, which ranks them 21st in the NFL. Red zone, they're at 53.13%, which places them at 22. Offense, in regards to the running game, it's they average of 112 yards per game, which places them at 18. Passing, they pretty much they're in the bottom of the league in regards to their passing yards a game. 187.5, which ranks them at 26. Defensively, they allow over 24.5 points per game. Yards per game, the defense allows 349.8, which ranks them at 24th. Against the rush, they're dead last, 142.6. So that could be an area where the Saints could go out there and exploit with Devin Neal. Because you don't have Alvin Kamara in this matchup. Maybe you can get a huge spark out of Devin Neal. This could possibly be his breakout game for them. Who knows? Maybe you can finally get they go out there, they utilize the Taysom Hill plays a lot. Maybe this is a game where you have some success with that. We'll see. But the Dolphins are going to come in that game prepared to stop it. But they struggle against the run, so maybe this is an area where Kellen Moore finds some success. We'll see. Against the pass, right? They give up, they allow 200.7 yards per game. So that places them at 12. So that could be, I think that's one of their strengths right now. 12 ranking, that's not bad. It's just right outside the top 10. Um, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, man. But so far, their offense has just been, not good. And that's usually been the strength of their team under Mike McDaniel, that high powered offense. But the defense has just been really atrocious this year. They're in the 20s, they're between the mid and lower 20s and everything, pretty much. Outside of the pass. They're really good against the pass. So those are the areas where I think Kellen Moore is going to look to exploit. Especially, if anything, you got to hurt these guys on the ground. You got to hurt the Dolphins on the ground. They're allowing over 142.6 yards per game, which ranks them at 29th. So you got to exploit them on the ground as a team, as a unit. So we'll see how it all play out, man. But Saints, I mean, would a win if a win does a win tomorrow, um, re-excite the fan base? I don't know because um, after losing to the Falcons last week, the Saints most hated rival, that put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And I don't know if a win this week is going to, you know, reignite anything, any type of excitement, reignite any type of optimism, because there's still a chance that the Saints could go, win the next 4 games, win 4 games and come away with and be 6-10, 6-11. It's still a possibility. Would that give fans hope? I don't know. The rematch with the Falcons, a lot of people are gonna be looking forward to that rematch. And if you lose that game in a certain way, that'll really tick people off. Now, you go out there tomorrow and dominate the Dolphins, it might really nice something. Tyler Shook breaks out, Devin Neal breaks out. Either one of those players have a breakout game. Chris Olave have a huge performance. It might reignite the fan base to be more optimistic of this season, of next season, or how the end of this season could play out. Because I've just been seeing a lot of comments the last couple of days after the Falcons game. Just not too many people are enthused by Kellen Moore. They're just not. So with that being said, my score prediction for tomorrow's matchup, I got I'm going with the Dolphins winning this game tomorrow by the score of 34-21 over the Saints. I just think they're the better team on the roster. Not in regards to the rosters, better quarterback play right now. Devin A. They have their, I mean, I think they're gonna really rely a lot on Devin A. Chain to get it done. And I don't know if Kellen Moore is going to do enough to exploit their biggest weakness, which is to run up, which is not their inability to not stop the run. So I think the Dolphins will win this game by a score of 34-21 over the Saints, and that's how I see it. That's how I see it playing out. So that's all I have for y'all for right now. Like, comment, subscribe, leave your score predictions on the comment section below. Do the same if you listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. Leave a 5-star review. Um, Share your thoughts. How do you think the game is going to play out tomorrow? Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.